Making headlines this hour, President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu congratulates Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on becoming India's longest-serving elected Prime Minister by consecutive days in office. Japan State Minister Masahisa Miyazaki states that Japan and the Maldives are set to elevate their defense relationship to a higher level. Public service media unveils a new online portal dedicated to the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Mariam Shawshat. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu congratulates Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on becoming India's longest-serving elected Prime Minister by consecutive days in office.
In a social media post, President Muizzu extended his warm congratulations to Prime Minister Modi on achieving the milestone. President Muizzu also expressed optimism about the future of relations between the Maldives and India. The president's remark comes as the Maldives and India continue efforts to enhance bilateral cooperation across a range of sectors. Since assuming office, President Muizzu has undertaken an official visit to India, while Prime Minister Modi also visited the Maldives at the invitation of the president. During Prime Minister Modi's visit, the two countries agreed to initiate discussions on a proposed free trade agreement (FTA). The Maldives and India have since signed the terms of reference for the agreement. This year marks the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the Maldives and India, with both countries continuing to strengthen cooperation in areas of mutual interest.
President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu sends a formal message of congratulations to the Right Honourable Louise Arbour following her assumption of office as the 31st Governor-General and Commander-in-Chief of Canada. In his message, President Muizzu extended warm congratulations on behalf of the government and the people of the Maldives as Governor-General Arbour assumed the responsibilities of her high office. The President expressed confidence that Canada would continue to prosper and uphold its enduring values during her tenure as the Queen's representative in Canada. The President also expressed his hope that the long-standing friendship and cooperation between the Maldives and Canada would continue to strengthen, bringing greater mutual benefit to both countries and their peoples. He noted the importance of maintaining and deepening the bilateral relations that have characterized the diplomatic ties between the two nations. Concluding his message, President Muizzu extended his personal best wishes for Governor-General Arbour's good health and well-being, as well as for the continued peace and progress of the people of Canada. Japan's State Minister Masahisa Miyazaki states that Japan and the Maldives are set to elevate their defense relationship to a higher level.
The remarks were made following a courtesy call by the Maldives' ambassador to Japan, Ahmad Mahlouf, during which both sides discussed enhancing defense cooperation and broader bilateral relations. In a post on social media following the meeting, Miyazaki expressed appreciation for the Maldives' support in facilitating the standby deployment of Japanese military aircraft for emergency situations. He also reaffirmed Japan's commitment to further strengthening defense ties and cooperation between the two countries. In a separate social media post, Ambassador Mahlouf highlighted Japan's long-standing support to the Maldives in areas including maritime safety and security, disaster preparedness, and emergency response. The ambassador expressed hope that the friendship, trust, and cooperation between the Maldives and Japan would continue to grow stronger in the years ahead. He also noted that the two countries will mark the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations next year, describing the milestone as an opportunity to further deepen bilateral engagement and cooperation. The Maldives and Japan maintain close ties across a range of sectors, including development cooperation, maritime affairs, disaster management, and capacity building initiatives.
Public Service Media PSM unveils a new online portal dedicated to the 2026 FIFA World Cup, offering fans in the Maldives a one-stop source for everything related to the upcoming tournament.
The website features team and player profiles, detailed information of host cities, which are United States, Mexico, and Canada, stadium guides, match schedules, latest news updates, and the latest from officials, all refreshed in real time. In addition to the digital hub, PSM has arranged historic free-to-air access for Maldivian viewers. Anyone with a MediaNet connection will be able to watch all World Cup matches live on PSM's channels at no cost, the first time the tournament has been freely available in the country. The initiative is the result of a partnership between PSM and MediaNet, which will deliver the signal across the archipelago. To spark enthusiasm among the younger generation, PSM organized a children's event earlier this month, inviting local school children to learn about the tournament, meet mascots, and take part in football-themed games. The broadcaster has also launched a series of social media content along with special World Cup-related contests. With the tournament set to be the most competitive and exciting in history, PSM's combined digital and broadcast push aims to ensure that no fan in the Maldives misses a single minute of the world's premier sporting event.
The Maldives Monetary Authority MMA reports in its quarterly business survey that the wholesale and retail trade sector advanced during the first quarter this year, driven by an expansion in commercial activity, even as businesses contended with a sharp rise in operational expenses.
Compiled at the conclusion of every quarter by directly questioning businesses operating within the industry, the assessment showed that the volume of sales index, which illustrates the total amount of commercial trade conducted, increased by 24 points to reach 4. The expansion occurred alongside significant upward pressure on expenditures. The index reflects the number of employees rose by 1 point to reach 70, while the metric tracking wages and other labor-related costs surged by 67 points to reach 80, the central bank indicated. Profit margins faced concurrent pressure, with the cost of sales index experiencing a substantial increase of 95 points, climbing to 68, as 78% of surveyed businesses noted that their operational expenses had grown. Driven by these escalating expenses, the index representing average selling price increased by 106 points, ultimately rising to 66. The momentum documented in the first 3 months of the year is projected to moderate. Business owners' expectations regarding the state of the sector have diminished for the second quarter of 2026, the findings highlighted, causing primary indices forecasted during the first quarter to turn negative. Differing opinions exist among business owners regarding anticipated changes to the labor market. Although the index forecasting an increase in employee numbers declined by 10 points, the metrics remain in positive territory at 3 points. Projections for expenditures continue to indicate upward movement, though at varying paces. The MMA report showed that the index projecting the future cost of sales decreased by 58 points to sit at 22, while the index forecasting average selling prices climbed by 53 points to reach 12, leaving both forward-looking indicators in positive territory.
The National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) announces that the distribution of flood control pumps donated by the Japanese government to local councils has officially begun as part of a national effort to mitigate worsening disaster risks.
The authority stated that under the initial phase of the Economic and Social Development Project, which is funded by Japanese grant aid, pumps designed to protect against flood emergencies have thus far been delivered to the administrative councils of 5 islands. The initial recipients include Inguradu in Ra Atoll, Kashidu in Kafu Atoll, Mula in Mimu Atoll, Feridu in Alif Alif Atoll, and Kandudu in Ta Atoll. Out of the total 40 pumps acquired during the first phase, distribution will reach 20 islands in the preliminary round, with each receiving 2 pumps and necessary equipment. The authority explained priority was given to communities that had not previously received pumps and had reported frequent flooding. The initiative represents a critical component of policies enacted by President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu to fortify disaster response capabilities across the atolls and construct a more resilient Maldives. A second phase is scheduled to distribute drainage pumps to 15 additional islands, Ihavandu, Diddu, and Uligang in Ha Alif Atoll, Nelladu in Hadalu Atoll, Mafaru in Nunu Atoll, Fainu in Ra Atoll, Kudarikilu in Ba Atoll, Nafaru in Laviani Atoll, Gafaru in Kafu Atoll, Buruni in Ta Atoll, Huludeli in Dalu Atoll, Magudu and Biledu in Fafu Atoll, Hodeddu and Kaduhuludu in Gafudal Atoll. Severe weather frequently inflicts disruptive flooding across the Maldives. In pursuit of a comprehensive solution, the administration is advancing broad infrastructural projects to establish robust stormwater management and drainage systems within vulnerable island communities. Such upgrades are actively underway in the capital city of Male and several larger islands across the atolls, alongside parallel efforts to strengthen early warning systems nationwide.
The reclamation of 7 hectares of land for a new fish canning factory on the northern coast of Nilando on Fafu Atoll is nearing completion, local officials says, marking a significant step in the administration's efforts to expand the industrial capacity of the fisheries sector. The Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC commenced practical operations for the infrastructure initiative encompassing land reclamation and harbour construction in March of this year. The president of the Nilando Council, Ali Ahmed, said approximately 80% of the reclamation is finished, noting that the revetment wall and harbour development are proceeding in tandem with those efforts. According to the Ministry of Fisheries, Agriculture and Ocean Resources, once operational, the factory will process and can 50 tons of fish daily. A 1,500 metric ton cold storage facility will also be constructed as part of the broader project. The initiative aligns with an administration project objective to increase fish canning capacity as distinct projects advance the broader fisheries sector nationwide. Housing Development Corporation HDC officially transfers the land allocated for the construction of the Hulumale Grand Mosque, which is the largest mosque to be built in the Maldives, to the Ministry of Islamic Affairs and Endowments.
A special ceremony held on 10th June marked the occasion, attended by Minister of Islamic Affairs and Endowments, Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Saeed. The land handover agreement was signed by Minister Shahim on behalf of the ministry and the Managing Director of HDC, Brigadier General Retired Ali Zuhair, on behalf of the corporation. The Hulumale Grand Mosque will be developed on land situated between Hulumale Phase 2 and Phase 3, envisioned as a landmark Islamic complex serving future generations. The ministry has already signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with Saudi Arabia's Al Rajhi Company to finance the construction of the mosque. The project was announced by President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu during his presidential address earlier this year. Physical works for the mosque are planned to commence in conjunction with the commemoration of the 900th anniversary of the Maldives embracing Islam. The ministry is currently working towards initiating construction in September this year. Speaking on the project, Minister Shahim said that the development will extend beyond a mosque, encompassing a comprehensive Islamic complex that will include a Quran museum and a range of other significant religious and educational facilities. The Grand Mosque project represents a significant milestone in the nation's Islamic infrastructure, poised to serve as a beacon of religious and cultural heritage for future generations.
Rising metal prices, including aluminum and iron, due to the Iran conflict have squeezed profit margins and disrupted business plans, said locks manufacturers in the northern Indian town of Aligarh, as key raw materials become more expensive and harder to source owing to the Strait of Hormuz blockade.
The US-Israeli war on Iran has disrupted shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, sending oil and gas prices higher and tightening the supply of diesel, resulting in inflation across sectors. The impact of the Iran war on Gulf aluminium production and exports is accelerating disruption across an already fragmented physical supply chain. Profit margins have narrowed sharply and the industry is in a serious situation, said lock manufacturer Kamal Kotara. The Middle East accounts for around 9% of global aluminium production, a metal essential to construction, transport, and renewable energy.
Iran warns of further attacks in the event of any further aggression by the US after they carried out missile and drone attacks on US military bases in Jordan, Kuwait and Bahrain in retaliation for American strikes on Iranian targets around the Strait of Hormuz.
The clashes mark one of the biggest exchanges in hostilities since the two countries agreed to a ceasefire in April, and came after U.S. President Donald Trump said Iran had downed a U.S. Apache helicopter near the strait on Tuesday. The escalation in violence deepens doubts about the prospects for a deal to end the war that started on February 28, with joint U.S.-Israeli strikes against Iran. Tehran responded by firing on Gulf neighbors that host U.S. bases and all but choked off the strait, a vital conduit for oil and gas.
Somali soccer referee Omar Abdul Qadir Atan said the decision to bar him entry to the United States for the World Cup was fate, and urged his fellow Somalis not to lose heart over it.
Atan, Africa's Referee of the Year in 2025, had been set to become the first Somali to officiate at soccer's global showpiece, but was turned back by U.S. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) over the weekend. The Trump administration says the U.S. had denied Atan entry for the World Cup because of his links to suspected members of terror organizations. The Trump administration's strict immigration policies have been a point of concern before the World Cup, with Washington imposing a sweeping travel ban last year on citizens of 12 countries, including Somalia. A FIFA spokesperson said Atan would now not be able to train or officiate at the tournament, which is being held in the US, Mexico, and Canada. Somalia's government said it had tried unsuccessfully to negotiate with the US and FIFA so that Atan could enter the US, and was saddened by what had happened.
Beneath a patch of soil at the University of Bath, several mushroom-shaped devices are drawing electricity from an unlikely source, bacteria.
British startup Bactri says its bacteria-powered battery uses soil's naturally occurring microbes to generate a steady trickle of power, offering possible alternatives to disposable batteries, cabling, or solar panels for sensors on farms and in remote environments.
So the core principle of this device relies on the soil microbial fuel cell, which is partly what sits inside, but we've engineered them in ways that they can be made reliable and operational in uncontrolled environments. Now the plan is to scale the team, really put effort into commercializing this first product and turn a lot of the projects. So this device will be designed to be completely maintenance-free, and we anticipate about a 30-year lifespan for power production. And it's all possible because of the beauty of soil and its capabilities of self-regenerating and sustaining an ecosystem within.
The company's devices, which it calls Bactries, are based on soil microbial fuel cells. As bacteria in the ground break down organic matter, some release electrons. Bactri's system captures those electrons using buried electrodes and converts them into usable electricity.
So we take microbes that are already in the soil, they're living organisms, and we create conditions within the soil and the reactor that allows them to produce electrons, and we take those electrons and we produce that power.
Battery-powered devices could include soil moisture monitors, weather sensors, and help enable scalable Internet of Things (IoT) and digital infrastructure in remote locations where power remains a constraint. Such sensors can help farmers decide when to water, fertilize, or harvest. But keeping them powered across large fields can prove expensive and labor-intensive. Bactri says its units can operate during day and night, withstand changing weather conditions, and self-recharge as long as they remain in biologically active soil. The company says the technology could reduce the need for battery replacement and energy infrastructure in hard-to-reach places. Jengilevsky said he expected the technology to work alongside solar and other renewable systems rather than replace them. Bactri is now gearing up to commercialize its soil-powered batteries while continuing to develop the next, more powerful generation of technology. Its first-generation model, Jengilevsky said, can generate enough energy to replace roughly 10 AA batteries per year, or 300 batteries over the anticipated lifetime of the device. The company's research indicates that this performance could increase substantially in future generations.
And at 4 watts, even though it might seem like it's insignificant, you can scale the devices bigger and you can have them installed fully underground so you're not competing with land use. And then you take an average sized garden and all of a sudden you can offset most of your household electricity bills from your garden all year round.
Powering a house, however, remains a long-term ambition. Jangilevsky said for now the company's focus is on powering much smaller, low-energy sensors on farms and in other remote settings.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news updates. Have a good day. Goodbye.